Welcome to Off the Clock again, to all Off the Clockers. Today we have a special guest, Nana, who's been lining up to do this, and I'm glad that we're doing this, Nana, close
Yes.
to the Women's Month. Why don't you start by telling us, a little bit about cover story about yourself, who you are, what you do, what you like, what you don't, before we get into the business of the day.
Okay. But thank you for the invite. It's really good to be here and, to be interviewed by the two of you. I'm very excited.
Father and son.
Father and son, Peter and Matlatse.
Yeah.
Awesome. But yeah, I'm Nana Phiri, and I work for R&B. And my responsibility is head of corporate client groups. So I'm responsible for all the corporate clients from an R&B perspective.
Us.
Yes, us. I'm correct. And that's how we met, right?
Yeah.
You work for one of my clients. So I think as the MD and CEO for that. So yeah. What I do, I love what I do. I'm in, investment banking and have been in this industry for over 15 years. That's how I started. I am married to my husband. His name is Israel Phiri.
Okay.
I've got two kids. My 10-year-old daughter, her name is Bokang. And my son, who's 7. What I do for fun. I love taking walks. I also love, reading. I play chess and going out with friends and family friends that we have as part of, the stuff that I do for fun.
Sound like you're leading a very good life. But I'm sure, being in the corporate banking space, that comes with a lot of weight on your shoulders, which can produce stress and depression. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, how mentally well you are, how, and then we can go into, if you sleep well, or we can help you improve that side of things.
Shows, the man in the health, the health industry,
Mr. Healthcare
Mr.
himself.
Healthcare himself,
Wow.
Yeah, so, I was talking the other day to some of our grads who are looking to come into the group, and I was just, telling them how difficult, these financial services environments can be, and very challenging, especially as a woman when you come in. And historically, they've been very much male-dominated industries. So you work around the clock, right? And that comes with lots of challenges and stress, for example. And it means you have to, see how you juggle the balls. And sometimes some of the balls drop, and sometimes you're able to carry as many as you can. But to your point around stress and how that can impact. Right now we're obviously at our financial year end from a work perspective,
Okay.
and that comes with a lot. Yes.
Lot
of
bonus.
that too. But to get to that point, there's lots of hoops to jump, right? To get there. But yeah, so, and the tension, always around, how do I take care of me? How do I take care of, as a caregiver, my kids, my, husband as well, and then even extended families, right? And play a role in society that I want to play as well. So those pressures, together with wanting to be the best, wanting to do your best, and fulfill, some of your dreams, right?
So they generate a lot of stress, and how well do you do on the sleep side? Do you sleep 10 hours, 12 hours? How's the quality of your sleep? You wake in the middle of the night and cry. How's your sleep?
But that's like no.
What's making
Yeah.
you wake up in the middle of the
Middle of
night
night.
to cry?
So I should be sleeping longer. I should be sleeping at least on average, 8 hours. But I think I've either maybe stress or limited sleep capacity. I do sleep probably around 5 to 6 hours. On a good day, I can probably get in 7. But on average, 5 to 6. That's yeah. That's
So are you kind of a late night person or a morning person?
I'm not a morning person,
Okay,
but
so
Same.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
yes, I'm not a morning person. I'm a late night person in general. However, because what happens now is like, well, since I've had kids, literally between 2 and 4, I'm up. AM, right? So it means now, like between that time, and then your longevity of lasting. I used to be like you as well, where I'm like literally I can work as late as possible, midnight, you name it. But now, at 9 o'clock, I'm like, okay,
you want to sleep.
where? Oh yes, if we're
Before.
out, I'm like, okay, time. I need to go. Yeah.
Wow. So I hope that doesn't scare you off from
Kids.
thinking about family. It's just,
I already knew. Already, this is not new information for me.
okay.
Cool.
So something I wanted to ask was that obviously you said you work at R&B. Was the industry in which you work in, was that always the plan to be where you are today, or was it like, did it start out, I want to be an actress or something else like that, and then life led you here? Like, what was the journey like? Your thought process, what did you actually want to be compared to what you actually are now?
Fair enough. Yeah, I was very good at maths in high school, right? So everybody keeps on throwing actuarial science. You need to be an actuary. You need to be an actuary. And I think when I left high school, I had applied to be in chemical engineering. Let me start with first preference. It was actuarial science, chemical engineering, and genetics.
Okay.
Right. So that's I didn't know anything about investment banking.
Okay.
And then got to varsity with actuarial science. I went to UCT. And I think in second year, that's when we started doing a course, the finance course. And
Yeah.
through the finance course, I then discovered investment banking. And then I'm like, whoo, this is what I want to be. Like, like
work with money.
derivatives, the trading floor, mergers and acquisitions. And then from that day on, literally when I heard about it, it was that.
Love at first sight.
Yeah, it was that. And I've remained true. It's almost over 20 years ago.
You remain true and you didn't look back.
No, that was it. It was done.
Okay, so out of varsity, where did you start working there?
Out of varsity, I started working for much like a multinational bank, which is Merrill Lynch at that time.
Yes.
Yes, and
Bank of America.
it's now Bank of America post the crisis of the global financial. I was at the heart of it, so I remember vividly, when it happened. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's nice then. All right, so outside, okay, obviously, why was actuarial science your first choice?
And like I said, I think actuarial science was my first choice because a teacher of mine that I respected very well, my maths teacher, actually said to me, you need to do actuarial science.
Yes.
And the cool part about actuarial science is that you can, predict how long people are going to live so that you can calculate how much money they need to sustain them in retirement. And then I just ran with it, I'm very, when I get into something, I'm very, very committed to it until certain facts change. Then I'm like, okay, let me look at it. And then for me, that happened in third year. I actually sat and I'm like, I've been through all these courses. What exactly do I enjoy? So I had a pivot. I changed from actuarial science. I graduated as a finance and economics grad because I discovered then that, hang on, I'm enjoying finance and economics more, and this is where I want to go versus going into like an insurer and dealing with pension and life care, life insurance, for example. Yeah.
So you don't feel like you missed out on the chemical engineering or the genetics, like you said?
No,
Or did you get like, let's say, a good enough background about those subjects to be like, okay, I don't like these actually?
So I think when I got to varsity, I was sharing my room with a chemical engineering student.
Okay.
And when we used to compare notes, I was like, okay, I'm happy that I chose the stream because it suited me more. Like my mom, my dad passed at a young age, and my mom was an entrepreneur. And, working, I always was very keen around how do you build wealth? How do you on that financial streak, and being a little bit more entrepreneurial in it. And I think, the course that I studied played more into that, that curiosity that I had around it.
So a lot of domestic influence as well. What you saw at home.
Correct.
Just building on it.
Yes.
To be who you are.
Yeah.
You basically said you want to be close to the money.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So just in terms of family, you mentioned off record that you're happily married with 2 kids, 10 and 7-year-old. A husband who's a pastor.
Correct.
I mean, how do you guys kind of spend time off the clock? Like really, chill. And I mean, I've been there, right? You got a daughter of 10, a son of 7. Do you, are you deliberate in making time just to spend time with your son, bomb him with love, and maybe make some time spent with your daughter and spend time with your husband, get to know each other better, or do you just mix it up and you're all together most of the time? How do you do that part of, off the clock?
Yeah, so I think we like to spend time together, and we, my husband and I have been talking and saying, actually, we need to spend the two of us get away sometimes with the kids.
Sound familiar?
Yes, but sounds and leave these people,
We met before them.
yes. But we haven't really been very good at it. I think a couple of years ago we used to choose a country and then just go, the two of us, and leave. That was when we had my daughter. But now with the two of them, we still haven't done it, where we literally disappeared together. So what we do to do that is we literally go to a local hotel and we say, listen, let's go for dinner. And then we sleep over and then we go to the next day.
With other kids?
With other kids. So, and then with the kids, what we do, Friday night is our thing. We literally come after work, everything, and then we choose a movie, we have popcorn, we sit around the table, we sit around in our lounge, and we watch a movie together and get to spend time together. So
who chooses the movie?
that's always the difficult part. And before we used to rotate, and then we just never got to it. So my husband now is the one who's like, okay, we're gonna watch this because when you let someone choose, then it eventually becomes
chaos.
It becomes chaos. Yeah.
So very much like the movies and also the travel piece. Maybe from a travel standpoint, when you used to travel, when you could travel, any location that stayed with you, very romantic memory, food, everything else. That you're probably going to go back one day when you can.
So,
and then I'll come to the movies.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a cliche because everybody's like, oh, lovers go to where? Paris, right? But honestly, I mean, we traveled Europe, we traveled a few countries. But when we went to Paris, we did the romantic thing. Lunch by the sea and river. It was the best. Yes, best thing, for us. We literally were staying very close to the Eiffel Tower and just being able to have breakfast and look at the Eiffel Tower and walk around, Then we returned to our younger days. We went on bicycles around the city, just chasing each other. you know. Going back to the romance, pure romance. And
So
that's
who
why
was chasing who?
it's quite special, right? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long did that go on for? That
What are
chasing?
the chasing around? I think we were like quite like flabbergasted that you can actually go on bicycles and ride around the city without fearing for your life sometimes, so
Without
that's
a taxi almost.
yeah, then I was like on you.
But I mean, the French
Yeah.
drivers, they don't exactly drive well.
No, that's
too.
true.
So,
That's true. That's true.
you're not exactly safe there
Exactly.
either.
Exactly.
So moving on to the movie side of things, because I'm a movie collector. So in this Friday family get together, what sort of movie that you guys ever chose that stayed with you? And I'll give you a hint. In terms of the movies that we used to watch together as family, the movie that was, one, very educational, two, appropriate, and stayed with us is a movie called Finding Forrester.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
I'm sure you know the movie. So.
yes, yes.
But in your case,
So for us, because our kids are still young, we watch a lot of like family.
Lion King.
Yeah, Lion King type. What is this one? The Little Mermaid.
So you're watching Disney movies.
Disney movies predominantly, but I think one of our favorites is the Toy Story series.
Toy Story. Okay.
Woody and and it talks about the complexity of friendships and how with the toys and being able to, and this is what I always tell my kids, like the kids nowadays, they like gadgets, right? And I always tell them, you have to have time for you to spend with yourselves without gadgets, and Woody just reminds us of that, like with the Toy Story. Have time to play with your toys, and get to know yourself through playing with the various toys that you have. And I think sometimes I feel like our kids in this very high tech world, kind of don't get time to just have solitude.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
they lose a lot on the social skills building up that that they can play around with the gadgets better than
Wait,
us.
so how do you? I mean, you did say like you advise them to do that, but how do you manage it in a more hands-on way of saying, okay, you spend too much, enough time on the iPad or enough time on the PlayStation or enough time on the computer. Go outside and touch grass.
because that's kind of literally, yeah. So I think we've agreed, like as we've sat down with the kids and said, listen, Monday to Thursday, no gadgets, no matter what. And then Friday you can play gadgets until such a time as we're back, and then it's movie time. And then Saturday we're a bit more flexible. However, what I'm deliberate about with the kids is I've actually set up extramural activities. So for Saturday we do ballet, we do chess, we do tennis, so that they can actually, discover themselves, just compete in that healthier environment. Still very traditional, as you can hear, healthier environment for myself. But my husband has got a different view, right? His view is, these kids are actually learning to interact through the screen. So what happens now is that these kids now are playing Roblox, Minecraft, and they then call each other, right?
Yeah.
So my daughter will have FaceTime and be calling her friend at home. And then they're in this artificial world where they're buying hair and all sorts of things on Roblox, and they're chasing each other in Roblox, So his view is,
So it's just
that
online
helps-
gaming.
Yes, exactly, pretty much. So his view is that it actually helps them to live in this hyper tech world and interact through that world.
So that's Saturday, and Sunday is church.
And then Sunday is church.
The whole day?
No, Sunday morning we go to church. We come back around 12.
Okay.
Yeah, 12, and then that's where I feel like Sunday is my day. I feel like after church, I want to eat good food. I want to take a long nap, very long nap, just to rest and take it easy and recover for Monday. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm still thinking about what your husband's perspective on the whole thing, because I don't think I've ever heard someone say that like they're learning, like also to frame it in such a positive way, because I get exactly what he's saying and exactly what like the kids are doing, because you can like with any game that you can play online, you can either like whether you're using a PC, PlayStation or whatever, you always have some type of functionality to be like, okay, let's start a group chat so we're all in
On
this
it, yeah,
thing
yeah.
and we're just talking to each other, whether we're playing the same game or not. Like you can use Discord for that.
Yes.
So I'm just thinking it's like his perspective on like, because I mean I grew up in an age where technology was still coming up, even though I would say I did grow up with technology, but I also understand the value of the time before technology, when like before we had phones in our hands and all those things, where it was like, I'm gonna go see my friend that's like 3 roads down.
Yes.
We're gonna go. Like I remember those days, and I feel like not that it's lost on this new generation. It's just that they're not pushed to do that, and the whole thing of just because I've seen it myself, even though like I would say I take part in it. And I'm also over that stage of I could sit at home and play games for like the whole day.
Yes.
It's like, no, I can't do that. I think I'm too old for that.
After a while, your eyes are like, "Ay, no."
Your eyes are watering and all that. So I think I've reached my own threshold of I can put hours into it unless I really love this thing. So I'm just like trying to make the correlation with your husband, where it's like he sees this as a positive, whereas the rest of us see it as it's cool, but it like long term it deprives you from
experiencing
other things, especially like when you're a kid. And this is something like how my mom explained something to me, is that when you're a kid, the reason why you usually don't have problems like with like you need to go exercise because of your weight and all those things, because when you're a kid,
You're busy.
you're busy.
Yes.
And it's usually just like either you won't have lunch that day, but you'll be with your friends for like 5 hours. You come back dirty because you're just running the whole time, and then you eat and all those things. Whereas like if you just at home playing games the whole day, you eat and you just sit on that chair, or you're sitting on your bed just doing that. So I just wanted to like, is your husband taking a lot of these things into consideration and all those things?
So I think where you know where we both agree is that too much excessive is not good for them.
Yeah.
But his view is that you cannot have kids that also are not living in the real world, because when we're living in the real world, I'm on my phone, I check Instagram, I check LinkedIn, and they're also in that world and they have to engage with it, right?
Yeah.
And his view is that we have to get them so comfortable with these type of gadgets and thinking to a point where they're able to wean themselves as well. Otherwise, it's going to be too excessive, right? And his other view is that because we saw computers at a late stage, I mean, I saw it like after matric, you know, at a late stage where you're now getting an email address, you know, nanaholo, at what, you know, you know, it became quite a bit foreign, but for the kids now it's their world and they're living in it. And so when I was studying computer science and learning how to program, and I'm like, the turtle must move this way. It was a bit of a thing, right? So his view is this is actually helping them, you know, become programmers, become a bit more technocrat, if you like, versus the generations before and our generation, who the internet came with us, right? So that's really his view around, and with that, it's helped us actually, because my son is 7, right? So we kind of know my daughter, what she's good at now, because she's 10. We kind of discovered she's good at this, she's good at that. With him, we still like, what is, and then he asked me the other day, he says, what is this guy good at? And I can tell you that he's going to be very good at programming and gaming, because from a young age, that was his thing, you know. And then now at least I know, okay, I can harness the programming part, like start teaching him language in terms of programming, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I think, I mean, it's just like, I mean, changing with the times. I mentioned off camera that I was on a countryside roadshow, town halls, and very much change management drive, and citing some of the examples that are, companies that went under because they stayed very much the same for a long time. I mean, think about
Nokia.
Kodak.
Correct.
Nokia, one of those
Blockbuster.
companies. But I made a statement because I was so unhappy with BlackBerry, for instance. In 2011, I had a BlackBerry, and but it didn't have a camera. It was like, then that's why they're gone. They they were not, changing with the times. And I had a good moment, went to headquarters of a company in New Jersey. We're running a program on philanthropy. Met Angelina Jolie, and we flew on a company jet to DC. If it was an iPhone, we could have taken a selfie. And now I feel like I was robbed a moment to take a picture with Angelina Jolie at the time. It's
One of my favorites. Yes.
And so that's why I'm not so sympathetic about BlackBerry having gone down because they cost me. So
Cost yourself.
moment.
The QWERTY keyboard. Remember that? Yeah.
So I think, as in kids, I mean, I think about my time, his time, and the time of probably our grandkids. It's just going to be very different. I mean, they're going to be very adapt to gadgets better and faster and the way it's done. And I remember when I was at business school, I did a project to benchmark e-commerce project. Then, like, e-commerce going to explode those days, to benchmark South African wine industry with the US. And just, I mean, the good thing is it's got me to understand wine better and hook me in. But, the ability of doing wine tasting virtually was very novel and difficult, spinning the wine, full body, and managing the whole supply chain, but also transacting online, at the time was kind of a fancy and older. Today is all what you do. And think about, I think as East parent, were very resistant to the whole e-commerce world of shopping online, and having him in the house, even today, has been having additional value. He forced us to go, ShopRite, Checkers 60. Like,
or Pick and Pay. What is it? Shop fast. Or
we don't stress anymore because of him. Otherwise, I'll be forced to get in the car and go get that milk.
It's really not you, though. It's me who has to
Yes,
go
he's
get
gonna
it. It's
send
not
you.
you. It's not
So you were solving your own problem.
I'm solving my own problems.
But
Because-
we all benefit.
It's gonna be like this at like 9:30 on a Saturday. It's like, my lads,
Wake up.
you need to go buy milk. There's no milk. You must also buy juice. There's no juice for your dad.
See,
That's traumatizing.
problem solved.
And that is the truth.
Looking at
That is the straight truth.
looking at the brighter side of it, it's adapting. And
Absolutely.
so you let the kids be.
Yeah, with
With boundaries.
boundaries. Yes.
So how do you social media? Obviously, the way I see it, social media is pros and cons. It can be a very good thing. It can be also a very destructive thing. So what's your approach with that on your kids, especially when they're so young?
So my daughter is at that age where she wants to be on social media. In fact, she's always, if we look on her iPad, she's got videos of her dancing. Mommy, can you put it on TikTok? Can you put it on YouTube? But I'm still
Old school.
No. I'm still old school. It's too young. So I think I've got an account on Facebook, on Instagram,
But
yeah, and there I post her. I post my kids in terms of if we go away. I do almost like, how the influencers do it. You follow your daughter and she gets excited. You put it there. And then I show her, okay, you've had 100 views, and you have this, and then she's like, oh yes, mommy, great, So I do with boundaries. I do expose them to it, but I'm not at that point where I'm gonna start.
Go big on it.
Yes, where she's gonna have her own, because I see other parents who have it, and I respect their views. But I think for me, it's almost, you need to get to a certain age. I still haven't concluded what age that is, whether it's 16 or whatever.
Or
but
21.
I think yes, you need to get to a certain age, and then
I mean, if you don't let them do it when they're teenagers, they'll just do it behind your back.
correct. Well, that's true. That's
So,
true. Yeah.
You see, I
Hey!
put him on social media. He's on.
On his own.
You didn't put me on social media, Dad. You didn't put me in your
Right now?
No, you didn't put me on social media, Dad. Let's be real. I had a Facebook and all these things before you knew what LinkedIn was. So it's
No,
okay.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about YouTube now.
YouTube.
Now
Okay.
that we're doing this.
Yeah, but yeah,
Doesn't
cool.
count.
But YouTube, I'm sure you had videos before.
No, I didn't have my own YouTube
Oh, your own
account.
channel.
So it's
Okay,
like,
okay.
It's not like I was. It is what it is.
Okay. So he is technically right. Yeah.
I mean, in this sector, but it's not like I was saying, Dad, I need to be on YouTube.
Okay.
So-
Okay.
so,
Well, okay.
yeah. So also, okay, I think let's close out the social media thing. What's your son's view? I mean, he's only 7, so I don't think. But 7, I don't know what 7-year-olds are like these days, anyway. So how is his view of social media? His take? I'm sure it's different from
Yeah.
the sisters. Or how is his?
He doesn't. So he follows a lot of what the sister does. So if the sister says, I want YouTube, then he'll be like, he also wants YouTube. But he doesn't really grasp what YouTube
He
is.
wants it
Yes,
because
yes,
she
yes,
wants
yes,
it. He doesn't.
yes.
It's not.
So for him, YouTube is a consuming channel. I consume stuff. And
Yeah.
for a long time, he's been obsessed with Michael Jackson. So all the moves.
Can he dance?
No, he can't dance, but he thinks he's Michael Jackson. So all the and I'm just, sometimes I get like, quite baffled that, music from old days can actually just, still come with generations. Like, Billie Jean, all the dances, the guy, it's him and
Is he singing it word for word?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
They good
Yeah.
this kids.
No, that's true.
I mean, family, up until now, you told us about your close family, of 4, which is kind of, modern. What about, as an African lady, extended family? I'm sure you've got aunts and cousins.
Multiple,
and
yes.
everybody. How do you interface that into your current family?
I think, to be honest, that's where I'm struggling with the most, right? In terms of just managing my time and capacity, that my mom's family is huge. I mean,
Yeah.
my father's family
Side.
is also huge.
Then there's
And-
your husband.
And my husband's family is not so huge. It's not as extensive, and most of them are overseas.
Okay.
So just the stuff that's happening around. Like, I'm from Limpopo, Polokwane. My mom is from there.
a good
My
place.
dad. Kikwela, I heard you with your deep petty, and I was like, this must be
Yeah.
yes,
It's a
must
dead,
be my home.
It's a dead giveaway. Yeah.
Yes. And then and my dad is from Mutetema.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's been my biggest challenge, and it's something that I feel very guilty about. Like, when there's stuff that's happening, if it's a funeral, it's a wedding, and then I just don't have the bandwidth to kind of stretch.
The highway is good. You
The
can go
3
in and
hour.
out. Like your German car, get it
was-
get it out there. Like
Yeah. No. That's the part and I think because our work is very integrated with, it's demanding, and now we're always on, always on gadgets, always accessible at all times. It becomes hard to manage that, to manage family, to manage extended family in terms of all the various demands. So what I try to do to kind of I try I try to like say, okay, let's have an engagement with the family, the whole family, once a year.
Okay.
You
Like
know,
a family
yeah,
get
yeah.
together.
It's like let's do like a party or like a get together where we, this family we get together, we all see each other, we all make a plan to see each other, and then if like there's a baby shower or one I choose like this one I'm gonna go and then just
Go big on it.
yeah, and just to have quality time. I'm more on quality versus quantity now. Like, the many meetings or the many gatherings, I sometimes can't make them because I realize that, I'm spread too thin. And I think I did tell you that I'm also a pastor's wife. I'm a pastor in my own right,
a lot
right?
of duties.
Yes. So that
comes to
also,
that, yeah.
to manage that also as well. It's quite
Mama Ruti.
Ke Mama Ruti,
Ish. Look, tell me, now that you kind of unpacked the whole family, you're a big shot at the bank. How do your family perceive you? I mean, as a, simple person, regular person?
Which
or,
family? My immediate or brother or
No, broader family, because immediate is easy to deal with because they see you all the time. The extended family, do they see you as this big shot from the bank who eats roast beef and
caviar?
Caviar, sit in the jacuzzi every night before they sleep. How's that going? Because this show is it's all about also demystifying people like you, because people see you sometimes in a different lens, right? So you can tell us the reality.
Yeah, so I think I don't take myself seriously. Like, and when you climb the corporate ladder, you get senior and senior, you can really take yourself very seriously and then, walk all,
High
hoity-toity.
heels.
Yes, and be very rigid when people come meet you in the corridor. Hello, ma'am. No, I'm very, what you see,
Down to earth.
what you see was what you get. So even with my family, they know, ke Nana Golo,
Okay.
people at work call me Nana Phiri, but when they meet me, ke Nana Golo, the girl that grew up in Limpopo, running barefoot in the township of Mankweng. That's me.
Ish,
So,
eating
Yeah.
pap.
Yes, eating pap, and hard body chicken.
Yeah.
That's me.
That's,
Yeah. So when I meet my friend, I think what kind of throws them off a little bit is, occasionally they see me showcase somewhere in a magazine, whatever. They're like, oh, okay,
on TV.
this person is big, or this person is like got this, a big role. Then it's quite a surprise. And my aunt will call me, we seen you
Saw
in the
you.
newspaper. Then it's like, okay, then it kind of hits. But other than that, it's like, oh.
And your parents, I mean, do they, especially your mom, because you said your father passed on when you're still young, do they think you're loaded, you're rich, or
Are you loaded, Peter?
let's just focus on you for now. This is your time.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful for what I have, and I think, I'm not a flashy woman. I'm not even our family. I try to keep it as down, and
Keep it real.
keep it real. I think at some point people can kind of see, that things are okay, things are good.
Yeah.
And I think, and I'm very blessed in a way that my mom is not very demanding as well, and she wants the best for me. Like, so when she sees things are good, I'm very happy for you, my child. And yeah, so am I loaded? That's a question you're asking. It's a difficult question to say. But I think like I come from a family where, in an entrepreneurial family where we're good and bad days, So I think one thing that I told myself is that I want to make sure that when my kids one day, start their lives, they're in a different position where they can really do what they want to do and make meaningful, impact versus what they have to do to kind of make a living. So I think, so I live with that in mind to say, build future legacy. Yeah.
Okay, strong foundations. So, I mean, as you go towards the end, Klatse, do you want to go ask a few questions before we allow her to quiz us a little bit? I'm sure she's got a lot of questions about where we got this great chemistry between us, I mean, kind of ideal father and son relationship.
I think I've asked you because I really wanted to touch on like the social media stuff with all those things, how you're raising the kids. But like, I think most of the questions I wanted to ask you, you dealt with them.
Cool, super.
So do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, I think, Matlats, maybe from your perspective, how is it working with your dad in this? You mentioned when we were talking offline that, sometimes time, because you're building and dad maybe can be a bit more flexible. And how is it being for you? Yeah.
Working with my dad. Honestly, it's a learning process. I don't want to say it's great. I don't want to say it's terrible. I want to say it's like we're still figuring out the whole thing, like how. We have a good idea of who each other is and how each other's personalities are, but also at the same time, you're also able to have very direct conversations with each other and just be very honest with each other. Just like with any relationship, you're going to have highs, you're going to have lows. But the whole thing with us is that we always come back to like we're working towards the same goal. So whether we've had a good day together, working together, we've had a bad day working together, because realistically, you're going to have those things. We always come back to the same starting point of we're still working towards the same goal. And we're still aligned with the whole thing. It's like whether we have a difference of opinion, that's irrelevant because we can sort that out. So I'd say working with my dad, is it great? I don't think working with family is great. It's ever great. But it's a learning experience. No. It's a learning experience because he's also coaching me.
Good.
And I know that it's obviously everything's not going to be smooth sailing. Everything's not going to go the way I want it to go but at the end of the day, that's life. And I always just take it as a learning experience. I also just take it as also I'm in a fortunate position. Not many people are fortunate enough to be in this position that I am, to be doing this with their own father, even because maybe some people, they don't have a great relationship with their father.
Absolutely.
Maybe some people, their father's not with them anymore. So I understand that the whole experience, it's a blessing, but it's also, we have to take it one step at a time with this blessing and also be patient with each other. So yes, working with my dad, it's an experience.
Okay, last question for me to you. What's your vision of the clock? What's your vision? Where do you want to see it go? And
the thing is, right, is that most of Off the Clock's vision is largely my dad's. And I agree with his vision because when the whole thing started, I didn't proposition the whole thing that I want to do this with you. He said, I'm not doing this without you. And I said, I brought up the idea. So I was like, okay, cool. We can do the thing together. So it's more about me, because I'd say my vision for the whole thing isn't as far as his. So it's also me trying to adopt his vision and seeing where he's really trying to take this, maybe even 20 years down the road, and my lens is like maybe I only see 5 years. So my vision for the whole thing, first of all, my vision is also to make sure our visions are aligned and they gel together, and secondly, it's to be able to build on his own vision, because at some point he's probably going to say, this is your thing now and you have to run with it, because he's at a different point of his career and all that, and I'm also at a very different point in my career.
Yeah.
So the whole vision thing, I mean, I see it as the podcast growing. I see it as us getting more recognition for, I mean, the brand recognition. It's like, oh, you're off the clock, guys. Like, I think when something like that starts happening, I'll be like,
cool.
okay, the vision is coming
Yes, nice.
but yeah, I think my vision is also mostly trying to make sure I align with his vision, and then what can we do to build on your vision after or moving forward from that.
So let me just top up on that, because I think it's very important to do that. So, bullet point, the vision is to spotlight people like you, solve a big corporate and societal problem in mental wellness. You people, I'm not judging you. You people are carrying a lot of weight, stress, depression, and
You can
nobody
say
talks
us,
about.
We're a part of it.
He's talking about himself as well, right?
Yeah, but I'm kind of in a driving seat here to that, because I know, as a kind of a rebel with a cause, is to put a spotlight on executive, mental wellness, via, demystification of you. Because when you're wearing that, French two-piece and high heels,
correct.
You create a different brand that is all is well, but you're depressed.
But
you go into the shrink
you're
office every
anxious,
month. You're anxious and all that, but also saying, CEOs are or execs are normal people. Somebody's daughter, they hurt sometimes, and it's tough and it's okay, and we are on the 14th of August. We've got the first in-person event in collaboration with Gibbs, where we're going to be spotlighting this. Probably about 200 plus people coming in, more looking at people who are aspiring to be like you, like me, coming to hear how, I always put a line to say it's tough at the top, and people don't really get that.
They don't appreciate how,
Yeah, maybe more people, if they know how difficult is it to be at the top, maybe they won't want to be at the top and just stay in their own lane all the way. So end game, it could be a lot of that, but probably also with a book, spotlighting
different
this executive challenges. But you said you had a specific question for me.
I do, and I think, it's been awesome coming here and meeting your family and getting to see this person, because
I'm also real.
Yeah,
with, beautiful kids.
Yes, exactly. I think the question I have is, who is Peter? After the CEO of Metronics, after who is the person behind? Like, I discovered that you're from Limpopo by deducting, but who is Peter? Like, when we think, because when I see you go at MCHAM, I see this CEO, to your point, or when you arrive, we see the CEO who's got it all together, running a big ship, saving lives, but at the crux of it, who is...
I hope we have time. I'm a regular guy. Just like you, 2 children, adult children, no kids. But also I come from a very big family, of 10 kids, where, more like the company that I work for, 100,000 employees, just a number, no focus on me, no spotlight. But my story is a very fascinating story, starting from, the humble beginning. So the reason why I'm in healthcare is my aunt, who was a nursing sister, conned me to become a nurse and become a midwife and started doing that stuff. And the rest is history, because it rolls out into me being in healthcare. I've been in healthcare all my life. Healthcare is who I am. And but very passionate about other stuff. I mean, just like you, I do have hobbies in, movies, music, DJ, all that
DJ?
stuff. Yeah.
Huh? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
On the
that
thanks.
that's me.
No,
Yeah.
no, cool. No, I mean, it's been an absolute honor to be here, and I think, Matlati, you mentioned it that just seeing the two of you, it's actually quite incredible. I think I really feel strongly that the foundation of a good, healthy country that we can build is anchored around family. And I think seeing the two of you, father and son doing this together, I'm sure it's not easy. It comes with its challenges, but it also is growth, and it's beautiful to watch. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.
So
for coming.
thank you, and I think it's been nice having you here and gracing our show. A lot of young and up and coming women will look at you and see that it's possible. Even if you're from Limpopo, Mankweng, there's no limit. But the fact that you've been very open and sharing that is not without challenges. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Super.